Well, you can call me what my mother called me, Bruce. I'm a theologian at Southern Seminary. I didn't grow up a theologian. I grew up just a boy in a Christian home in Spokane, Washington. Very grateful for my parents, who both really did love the Lord and wanted to serve Him, and so I have that heritage for which I'm grateful. The Lord gave me an opportunity to travel the world when I was 15 years old, and I spent a summer in Madagascar as a missionary assistant, but traveled through Asia on the way there, and including Vietnam during the war. I spent a week in South Vietnam with a missionary up in the hill country where much of the worst fighting took place, and witnessed, goodness, I mean just horrific things that I had never seen before as a 15-year-old boy. But in my college years, the Lord really did a wonderful work in my life that had the byproduct of giving me a real love for His Word and a love for theology. So I went to seminary after college, just really excited to study Scripture, and grew to love theology, and had opportunities to teach, and realized I loved teaching. So goodness, you love theology, you love teaching, well, how about teaching theology? So the Lord has given me the privilege now of doing that for 30 years. There was a time when I liked to work with wood, for example. Boy, those days seem so long ago now, but I enjoyed that, and carpentry of modest forms. I play trumpet. There were times when I spent a lot more time practicing and playing than I have in recent years, but I still pull it out for Easter or something like that. Now don't play as much as I used to. We love hikes out in the woods, and biking and different things like that. Going to the beach, of course, in Kentucky, that's going to take a little while to get there, but we love driving, just exploring the country and different places. Family time is really precious to us, and of course reading, either in the genre of mystery novel or some kind of quasi-military, action type book, something like that. But those don't make it on my list very often, but I enjoy it when they get there. My wife Jody and I have been married for 35 years, and we just have loved living life together, going through all that the Lord has given us the privilege of doing. You'll find out when you meet her. Her main spiritual gift, not her only one, but her main one, is the gift of encouragement. And you talk to people who know Jody, and they are so grateful for her, because 5 minutes with Jody and you walk away feeling like, wow, the Lord is so good. I think there's hope here. She just is a very precious, encouraging Christian woman, and is a delight to me and many others. Well, the greatness of God is important and precious, period. And then to realize how impactful that is for living life as God has called us to. Honestly, I don't know how you live the Christian life consciously, reflectively, faithfully, without understanding who God is. What are you trusting? What promises are you believing? What power are you hoping can act? What wisdom are you hoping has planned and purposed, and so on? Knowing God and knowing Him rightly, as A.W. Tozer said, is the single most important thing about us, and in part because of the practical implications. One of the greatest delights of my life was the privilege of being able to teach my own two girls as they grew theology. This idea came to my mind one time when I was driving home from Trinity. I was teaching at the time in the Chicago area, and sort of reveling in the privilege I was having of teaching these students, But then I thought of my own kids at home, and And the thought occurred to me, what am I doing to train them? And the answer was not much yet. Of course, they were young. But in time, the idea came to my mind of spending time at their bedtimes, because they don't want to go to sleep anyway. They're happy, giggly little girls, and so why not co-opt that time and spend 10 or 15 minutes with each one, going through doctrines of the faith. Of course, I didn't tell them that, but that's what we did, and it was just thrilling. It was just a delight to do that and take little pieces, just tiny little bits, always based on some Bible verse. That's where we would start, is a passage in Scripture, and develop some truth, about the doctrine that we were looking at, and develop it little by little. I had no agenda, no schedule, just bit by bit by bit by bit, building a conception of God. People who think they can separate theology from living life as a Christian, either they are ignorant and deceived, or they have far more theology than they're willing to admit that is actually governing why they do what they do. Neither one of those is healthy. So why not be reflective and conscious of your theology and critique that from Scripture, so you're shaping your mind to think God's thoughts after Him, rather than assuming your thoughts about Him are already true. Yikes, how dangerous that is. And again, as I mentioned earlier, because of the necessary impact of the way you think about God to how you live life, it's best to get it right.